people they don't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A lot of people they don't know. Some people they get together because of looks.
Yeah.
She looked good, he looked good, or she looked like she got a good job, she got money. It's the look. He got a nice car, he got clothes. I like his hair. I like, and then you get with the person, you don't know nothing about them. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And then 4 or 5 years later, you're in the worst relationship you ever been in because you didn't just learn the person first. But
Yeah.
people don't have patience these days. People they don't want to do the hard work. It's like, I'm gonna get with you, or everybody got this thing
Yeah.
where people have to be what they want, but
Yeah.
nobody's gonna be what you want. You have to see who they are, learn who they are, and you have to accept them for who they are. And they have to do the same. That has to be a two-way street.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. I would say if this conversation doesn't do anything else, I hope that it opens the door to people being able to just communicate about, yeah, who are you? What is your story? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is your background and stuff? Like genuine connections, like you're saying, it's not surface,
Yeah.
it's not, um cosmetic is surface, right? It's not just for the
Yeah.
aesthetics of it. And I'm not a firm believer in just getting in a relationship just for the sake of having one. You know what I mean?
But
Um,
it's so many people that's doing that. It's crazy, and
yeah,
it don't even make sense. Like they'll link up with somebody, and it's superficial. They link up with somebody just to say they got somebody,
right.
and I'll say it because I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a chick, and she wanted to do the marriage thing, do the engagement. She was so desperate to have somebody to be able to show off. She bought her own engagement ring.
Uh,
She bought her own
but she about to
engagement
own
ring.
engagement ring for
She
you and
bought
her.
her own bought but I was at a point where I was finally trying to do the right thing. I had all my ducks in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and I was legitimately doing everything right. But this person had friends who had been in relationships, and she was the only one that wasn't.
Wow.
So when she finally got a hold of me, it became, let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there, because she wanted to show off the fact that she got a man.
Right.
And then it was like, it was like she she knew where I was mentally, what I wanted the whole settle down thing. So she like, oh, okay, let me just give him what it is that he's saying he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And me in that mode, like, man, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe this could work. Maybe this could be the thing. And when it came out, the money and the ring, and then when I started seeing who she actually was, it was like,
Yeah.
whoa, you ain't nothing like. And then you realize this was all just so you could, I don't know, compete or fit in with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it just wasn't real. It was all just I got a man too. I got a man too. But then you got the man and you ain't even know how to treat him, which explained to me why she was single.
Oh Lord.
I knew why she was then. And I made her single again.
You're stupid. You're
I
stupid.
walked.
Oh man. But nah, and I'm sure everybody has one of those stories, but
Yeah.
it really speaks to the need to really know a person. I remember
Yeah.
the guy that I had dated, I had told you about, like, it was the first guy that said, you don't even have to shave your legs for me. I said, ooh, what? I ain't gotta shave my legs. And he was
I need
like,
his
nah.
number. I need to call him, man. He can teach me some stuff.
You know, the first time a man had called me goddess and queen, I mean,
Mm.
just he had books, reading me the books and stuff. I was like, this is different. He can read and he reads to me and stuff. And I remember the first time I was just like, yeah, I'm about to bounce. This too good for, to be true for me. I had a history. I was a runner and a trash dog. So, but then I remember he had said, if we last in a relationship into like October that year, then we gonna go to the courthouse and get married. I said, I bet. So me, that's when my vigilant behind really hone in and like really look at stuff. And then it is at that time. I feel like if we're intentional about the relationships that we are in and we are, we're relating and we are enjoying it, but at the same time we are paying attention. What I started to see was everybody has their vision of a relationship. Mm-hmm. The job is to see if y'all visions match or if y'all can kind of merge y'all visions together and make it a grand scheme. And in that relationship, before October came out, I had saw that it was just one vision. This is how he saw things. And I mean, all the words, the shit was poetry. You know what I mean? Like, what woman wants to be in a relationship and not have to worry about shaving all the time? Every woman. You know what I'm saying? Every woman wants that. Nice. And if she say no, she lied. But you know what I'm saying? But at what cost, right? So when we're looking at division, I was just like, but am I going to have a say in this? And then it was like this power struggle between man and woman, and the man should do this, and a father's presence should be felt and not seen. And that right there, my friends, is something that I can't deal with because I was the product of a father who was not seen and hardly felt. You know what I mean? So I was just like, if I had not paid attention and taken that time, I probably would have been in an unfulfilled relationship, losing myself for the sake of a relationship. And I don't feel like me personally, anyone should do that. A relationship, me, I like to break down words. We relate. Where do we relate at?
Well, it's one thing that you said that I actually lived, and I never knew that it was this until you just said it. It's the vision. So when I got with my current wife, when we started, I had a view of what a relationship was, and she had a view of what it was, and they didn't match. My view was I can do whatever I want to do when I want to do it, and I'm not gonna be faithful. It wasn't on purpose. It's just I was a piece of shit, and I didn't know, and I didn't care how to be better. I'm like, hey, if you with me, you with me. This is me. I'm gonna try to get away with what I can. But our visions didn't match up. So of course the relationship didn't work. So what you said about do the visions match, and what is the vision? Can you put it together? Which is great if you could take yours and his and put it together. But in my experience, what I had to learn was we couldn't match ours together. But with the power of time, we was able to crush each vision and rebuild a vision together. Ooh, from the ground up. Yeah. So with that happening, us destroying what we thought we knew about relationships, because we learned we ain't know shit about relationships. Right. Which caused our separation. Then over time, she went out, she started dating other people. I went out, I started dating other people, and we both found and we both learned that there was nobody better than us for each other. So what happened was, once we started talking again, we started talking as friends. Right. And we were friends, literally just friends, for like a whole nother year before we even decided to get back together. So once we decided to get back together, it was not necessarily under terms, but it was more of an agreement. And the agreement was, we are together because we choose to be, not because we have to. Yeah. And with that, there's an understanding. I don't have to be with you.
Mhm.
I'm successful and I'm happy without you. And that went both ways. But we
Right.
are also successful and happy together. And
Right.
we can be that, we can make that, we can create that if that's our common goal.
Right.
But this is all over a very, very long time period. This ain't no 2 years, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it definitely goes right underneath knowing the person that you're dealing with, which you can't get with somebody and expect a lifetime relationship after 6 months you've been with them.
Right. Maybe.
But maybe, yeah, maybe.
You know, some people got married
Maybe.
like real quick and last a long time. I don't know. Okay.
Hey, okay. Then I'll take that back and I'll say I don't know what the hell I'm talking about on that fast paced tip. But the thing about my relationship is I had so much growing that I had to do.
Yeah.
And I couldn't grow the way that I needed to by being in a relationship. I had to be single. I had to be on my own. I had to have my own place. And as a man, there was a lot of hoeing that I needed to get out. I'm for real.
All the whole. I think everybody have a whole phase. Some people just deny it.
Man, do what I did. Get yourself your own apartment and do some hoeing. Get it out your system. Get it out your system. Because then when you realize how unfulfilling it is, when you realize how lonely it is, when you realize how it ain't worth it if you actually have somebody with you that cares about you, that loves you. If you find that person after you get your hoeing out, you ain't gonna let them go. You gonna hold on. If they good enough to hold on to, you'll hold on to them. Get that hoeing out your system. That's why people be cheating, because they don't never take the time to get all the hoeing out.
Get the hoe out.
Get the hoe out.
Let me go check my hoe meter and make sure all my hoe out. I think it is though.
Go check your hoe meter. Take a picture of it. I need to see your hoe meter.
I think my hoe meter. I think if you could go a whole year without some, yeah, you don't got the hoe out. You know.
No, I think if you can go a whole year giving it out, then you get the hoe meter out. And
I let a lot of years.
But along with that though, one of the most important things that I learned is that in order for you to learn and know the person that you're with, you got to learn to know yourself first.
Exactly. And that's something that really needs to be pushed. Yeah. Because I know we had conversations about young people wanting to get married too soon and things like that. And it's like, when you feel like you found the right one, some people got married at young ages, you know, the old timers, and they stay together 50, 60 years and they just learn with each other. But the person I am now is nowhere near the girl I was at 19. Right. And it's so much different. I handle stress different. I handle quorums different. I even handle, I just handle a lot of things differently. Instead of me having to blow up and show up, I know how to just walk out a block or have that conversation that is needed. I know how to have the tough conversations. I know how to ask the questions, and I know how to speak up for myself, because a lot of times, we talked about the Black women not being able to speak up, but it's like, no, there is authority in my voice, and I have the right to speak up for myself if no one else is going to take care of me. So I've gotten to that point, which puts me in a different position. It actually puts me in a position where folks think I'm married and taken, and I'm out here happily single. You know what I mean? But would love to be happily together with somebody, and when the time is right. When the time is right.
They see the confidence and the comfort, though. You know what I mean? It projects.
And I think I don't want to use the word intimidate, but it does ward off some of the bullshitters. You know what I mean? They be like, oh no, she carried herself in a way. It's just, I've done the work to get to this point. Like bro, if you know how to give yourself an orgasm, you ain't gonna be looking for it in everybody else. You know what I mean? It's just like, you get to thinking about some things like, that might be a waste of time. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me rethink. and do some things solo, and then have a conversation with you and see if I still feel the same way later.
Right, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Um,
I guess
but
that's a
back
different way
then
to
we
get the
were.
hoe out.
I be hoeing myself out all the time.
You
No.
be on yourself. I hope you paying yourself.
I treat myself well, but it goes into being whole, right? You're not looking for someone else to complete you, but when you are together and when you have done the work and you have figured who you are by yourself, I feel like it makes any situation that you get into more magical when both parties have done the work.
Yeah,
Um, and not
yeah,
to say that everybody's going to be 100% a-okay, because we learn through partnerships and relationships. We learn more
right,
about ourselves and things like
right.
that. But when you have yourself settled and you got the core of who you are, man, it just takes away a lot of that bullshit. It just takes
Yeah.
away a lot of that, the stuff that we could have avoided,
Hmm.
um, had we had the tools then. But now we have the tools. So I
Right.
would say that our responsibilities now is to share those tools with people, our
Mhm.
children, and invoke the spirit of, hey, togetherness. And these conversations are welcomed, contrary to what people believe. Folks act like Black women and Black men can't come together and talk. We can, and this is an
Oh,
example of that.
we definitely can, and we should, and
Hmm.
we will. But a lot of our black men, we over time we have developed a unappreciation for black women.
Mm.
And I can say that because I am an example of that from my
Mm.
past experiences. Um, Also growing up watching cable TV, all I saw on TV was the white women. You didn't see too many black shows where they were showing titties and ass. All you saw was white chicks. So,
Right.
over time, you seeing that. That's what you start looking at. But
Hmm.
then, um, my experiences with certain black women, um, it it made things difficult for me to look at certain black women a certain way.
Yeah.
So, you know, at a time now where everybody needs to be listened to and heard,
Yeah.
I think it's important that people just sit down and just talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like if you don't know me, or if you used to know me, if you know the old me, you will never imagine that I'm willing to walk and talk with you about anything
Yeah.
and tell you things on my heart and how I feel. Like, nah, that nigga ain't gonna talk. He ain't like that.
Yeah.
No, it's me. It's a lot of us. But just like with black women, at the same time, who wants to listen to a black man? Who
Yeah.
actually wants to listen to us? And how many of us are actually willing to say, "Hey, black woman, I want to tell you what's on my heart. I'm hurting over here. I just need somebody to listen." Who
Yeah.
better than you know what I'm saying? But we so at war with each other over small things. We talk about parenting, we talk about child support, we talk about our jobs, we talk about racism. That this is it ain't just me and you. This is probably all of us,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it should be talked about. At least if you're gonna say, all right, well, you a black man speaking to a black woman about the black experience.
Yeah.
Well, who the hell else is gonna tell us about the black experience?
Exactly.
White man?
And
You know
all
what
their
I'm saying?
studies.
And all their studies of they
Yeah.
studying us and gonna then turn around and write a book and make millions off the study of us,
In our
and we can't
language.
even talk to each other for free.
You know, that is very deep, and it really hits home. And it's like a reminder of why we decided to have this conversation, because these conversations can be said with love and peace. We laugh and shit, you know what I mean? And um although like at 19-year-old us, we weren't able to do this. You know, we had fun. We definitely had fun. And I think I did play your therapist a little bit back then and stuff, but you didn't listen to shit. But
of course, you played the therapist and I played me.
I was like, I got you. Just get it together. But yeah, it was like it. But what you're saying is true. Our first responsibilities are to ourselves, right? And that's on a solo, like the individual, but and as a community. Especially when we have been in communities where we seen us savagely going at each other. Some people that we've known when we were younger that are no longer here, gone to violence, you know what I'm saying, over dumb shit, you know what I mean? And it helps with our perspective today, but some of that shit was unnecessary.
Right.
Like we're glad that we made it past those days, but a lot of the offering each other was so fucking unnecessary. It really was. And what could have happened if we were able to just sit down and just talk, not from an anger, not from, you know, whatever, but from a space of just everyone's willingness to be able to be heard without being offended and having to defend, you know, because we may not always agree on everything, but you're entitled to that. Right. I look at everything like a puzzle, right? Puzzle pieces have different curves and edges, you know, but where one is, you know, in, you know, the other one's out, you know, the jigsaw, whatever kind of puzzles you're putting together, they're all shaped differently. Right. And they all have different colors to it and stuff like that. Right. But when you put them all together, it makes the most beautiful picture. It just takes time to put all of those together. And we're hoping to start connecting these puzzle pieces with conversations like this.
Yeah, get that picture. Get that beautiful picture
going. Right. But because I can't wait till this vision come alive and stuff. And we can do it. We can do it. And we don't need everybody on the outside. We have enough education now. We have enough tools. We just need to be able to rely on each other and stop coming after each other like we have agendas and things like that. Just take the egos out of it. Take the, you know, sometimes take your mind out of it and just feel the love and stuff. And it opens up for better communications. Before we leave, there's one thing I do want to show my appreciation out loud. I know I've said this, like, you know, personally with you. Let's see if we can do it. All right.
Let's see if she start crying.
Who gets stuff? But yeah, so, you know, speaking of the ability to be able to be vulnerable, this Black man had to remind me that I didn't have to be strong. And we've talked about, you know, the history of us and some of the things that Black women have to, you know, deal with and what we hold on to and stuff like that. And we suffer in silence a lot. But it was so refreshing. I'm laughing because of my response, but it was so refreshing when you're like, you do not have to be strong with me. You're able to release, and I'm here if you want me to. If you don't want me to, that's, you know, something. But it's just like, basically, I am here, and, you know, I'm not going to push you, but, you know, it's basically holding safe, you know, safe space. I'm paraphrasing a lot because it was a lot of goddamn words, and but it was just and it was like, you know, and it was genuine, and I felt like there was no agenda behind it and stuff like that, and it was pure. And it's not often that we as Black women feel safe enough to be able to be comforted in that way. When we're talking about examples, when we don't have a lot of those examples in life, it's hard to kind of accept that. But thankfully, at my age now, I've seen examples, so that's why I'm like, you know, it was very welcomed and it was very appreciated when you offered that out. So it's like, hey, Black women, there are Black men who are willing to hold safe space for you and allow you to emote. Just make sure you choose them well, right? And of course, you know,
not only that though, it's one thing that really, and it gets confused and it gets twisted. We just because a man gives you a compliment does not
Right.
mean he wants to have sex with you. There
Right.
are some gentlemen in the world. There are some men who can say, "Hey, you look nice today," or like you said, "Hey, look, whatever you're going through, you can speak to me. We can talk." And there's not an agenda behind everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's hard to decipher some of it.
True.
But no, I just wanted to say that. Damn
Yeah.
dog barking.
All right. Going off. Look, dog.
Shut up,
Um,
dog.
um, but yeah, so I wanted to again extend the appreciation. You are absolutely right. And thankfully I have been blessed in this lifetime to have men in my circle who allow me to be me. In later conversations, you'll be able to hear conversations with my play brother and my godfather and stuff like that, and even men that I work with, who help me stay sane. And I will say, because of men like you all, it helps me to not be reckless and desperate. You know what I'm saying? For just
Yeah,
any old man, because you guys hold the bars up and you
yeah.
allow us to see. And this is what I want all Black men to understand: when you respect your women and you hold them to a certain standard, no man
Mm.
can come in there and give her the bullshit, because she is basing her meter off of the examples that you give her,
Wow,
right?
that's incredible.
It is. And so I like like I be sharing my Tinder stories with him on everything, right? But it's just like y'all don't be knowing what's out here, right?
I'm,
But
I'm, I'm learning for real.
but you know what I'm saying? But if I didn't have people like y'all in my circle, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what kind of foolishness I'd be engaged in just to have some attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
men like y'all help women like us be able to feel respected, feel protected, and feel assured, and reassure us that, man, you are better than that. So I want to
Yeah.
appreciate you for that, acknowledge you, and tell you that, yeah, your knees are still ashy and you smell like onions. And
Man, man, okay, all right. Don't tell nobody else.
you're right. But no, yeah, because that me, like when he said it, I felt like I wanted to cry, and that's all I could type back. Like, you need to ashy and you smell like onions. It's like that's my like defense and stuff. Okay, my Venus is in Capricorn. I love differently, but he got it. So it's like, yeah, so I appreciate you for taking the time to have this conversation with me. Is there anything you feel like we need to leave on the table?
No, it's nothing other than the fact I would like to do another one of these, and I hope that I hope we have some type of impact, even if it's just on one person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I think that, like I said, my experiences, I don't have the experiences of Black women who's willing to not only listen but willing to talk. That's not my experience in life. But they are out here. You're one of them, and a lot of people are walking around angry.
Mm-hmm.
They doing reckless stuff because maybe two reasons. One, they don't have the proper example, and two, they don't have nobody to talk to that's willing to actually listen.
Mm-hmm.
Can I come to you and just vent, just get it off my chest, and you just let you and not only listen but also give me feedback too. I don't want you to just listen, because if you just gonna listen, then I can go talk to a fucking fence. You know what I mean? The fence will listen, he'll stand there and do nothing. But you also need feedback. Sometimes one thing that you are helping me with is you helping me see a different side of things. We walk through this life and we think that our way is the right way all the time because it's ours.
Yeah.
And when you got somebody that maybe you got history with, or maybe they just genuinely care about you, they don't mind telling you Well, I don't know about what you said. I think that you might want to maybe reconsider what you was talking about doing, because this could be the flip side, or what you're saying and what you're doing might affect somebody else in this way. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And if you're stable enough in your own mind, you're able to consider what that person is saying.
Yeah.
And you're able to look at it and you're able to appreciate where that's coming from. It ain't coming from a place of hate. It could be coming from a place of concern. So I think all of that is something that we all should understand and try to focus on a little bit better, instead of just jumping the gun and making crazy decisions or doing crazy things or discrediting people. We so quick to do all of that stuff. Fuck him, fuck her. I'm gonna do what I want to. You ain't doing what I want you to do. You ain't worth nothing. You know, and it's like, why are you so angry? You don't even talk to people, especially if it's somebody that you care about. Because some of these relationships don't have to necessarily end if you both know how to communicate.
Oh God, yeah. So that could be the next conversation. Communications. Oh Lord. And I really want to tackle the intentions, because I think we had a great conversation about intentions. When it came down to communication and the results of, or the effects of relationships. So
we'll have to do 18 hours on that a day.
Hey, it's good content. So, for everyone who is listening, and if it was felt in your soul and you had any comments or even questions, share your comments and your questions. I like feedback. I do. This is a conversation between he and I right now, but this is actually a community conversation. Healing is a communal effort, in my opinion. And as we heal each other. And as we build relationships, we help the community build relationships too. And this ripple effect that goes out, right?
Nice.
So that's definitely my prayer for that to happen. And it just starts with us just doing. We were just like, yo, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And it's just, hey, we're doing the best that we can. And then we're praying that you guys will continue to, let this ripple effect of healing and love spread it. Okay. Spread. So
yeah.
I appreciate you, Black man.
I appreciate you, Black woman.
Yeah. And until next time, guys, live for a living. Yeah. Love. Peace.